Brian Therien here from the Disability Digest. This is my number one tip to get and keep your Social Security disability benefits. I've been advocating for people for their disability benefits to get everything that they're entitled to since 2006. There's 192,000 people here. I work with a fantastic team. We see lots and lots and lots of situations. And so this is as a result of what we've experienced. 800,000 people last year lost their disability benefits. So if you're approved and think you're in the safe zone, until you reach full retirement age, just understand the statistics, and getting approved for disability has its own challenges as well. And again, this is the number one thing that you can do to help you get and keep your disability benefits. So this is part of a 10 segment what to do when you go to your doctors. And this is the most important piece, but that entire 10 piece will be available to you at the end of this video. So here we go. The first part of this is understanding what you need to prove to get your benefits and to keep your benefits. And you need to prove that you have conditions that are diagnosed, they're being treated, and despite those components, that there's limitations, right? So getting Social Security to understand diagnosis, treatment, and limitations is the name of the game. Now, there's specific forms out there that you can have your doctors fill out: residual functional capacity reports, medical source statements. But it's becoming more and more common that the doctors run and hide when you talk to them about forms. They either have a policy in their office where they don't do any additional work, or they want to charge you, or they're we just don't do that. It's gotten challenging. So this tip that I'm going to give you is going to help you get around that situation, and also to really allow you to control the process. And this is really simple, and I just hope that you take this information and make it habit forming so that it's just an easy part of what you do day in, day out. And even if you haven't applied for disability benefits or at any stage in your life, I feel that how you manage your doctors and get them to put the right information in your medical records will better serve them and you. So the first thing that you want to do is understanding the premise of what Social Security wants to see when it comes to limitations. Commonly, people speak in vague terms that, it hurts and they can't do things, or they can't stand for a long time, or they can't sit for a long time, which is unfortunate, but that's not accurate enough. So in your habit forming is to understand what you need to communicate in certainty. For example, if you have physical limitations, and I'll get on to brain health and mental limitations in a moment, it could be that you can't sit for more than 15 minutes like this, and then you need to get up and adjust. And then when you do that, maybe you're standing and you can stand for maybe 20 minutes, but then you need to go lie down. So the sitting, standing in minutes is helpful. Lifting. Perhaps you had, something happen to your shoulder or your back that prevents you from being able to lift. You can use a gallon of milk as a good benchmark. That's 8 pounds. So if you can lift 8 pounds or more, or try to get a feel for that. And then, so where we're going with this, if your job requirements are to lift 20, but you can only lift 8, then that means you can't do your job. And if you're over 50 and you can't do your job that you've done for a while, that really puts a lock on your disability benefits. Mobility is another one for physical limitations. If you have limitations in walking, you only can walk 25 steps, you got to stop and take a break, or you're not able to climb more than 5 stairs and then you're done. Things like that, right? So I'm going to tell you what to do with these limitations in a minute and getting my pen ready, and so you know how to apply this in real life. But I want to continue to roll on through some brain health challenges, which could be, you know, from depression, anxiety, PTSD, bipolar. Any of these diagnoses could cause difficulty in remembering repetitive tasks. Light sensitivity is another one. Some people are subject to working in an office environment with fluorescent lights, but that doesn't work for their condition. They have challenges getting out of bed on a consistent basis. It's just that bad. Cognitive impairment could be limitations in remembering repetitive tasks. I think I already said that. Emotional instability. You could be and something could trigger you to go into a not so friendly mode, or you might not take directions from a superior. So these are the things that you need to do. So for example, if you take directions or having challenges taking directions from a superior and it causes you to go into an emotional state, how long does it take you to recover from that? If it takes you a day or two to recover from that, then that is a specific limitation that if this happens to you, then it takes that long to recover. And if that happens once or twice a month, that means you're going to be out 2 to 4 days a month. You're unemployable. Okay, so I've given you the concept of the limitations that you want to extract. And these are what you want to document real deal daily. And it's as simple as writing them down on a piece of paper. So a journal, hopefully you journal daily, have a pain journal, and then you're writing these down. And the objective is to bring these in to your doctor. Going to repeat this. Bring these into your doctors. So it'll say, I can only sit for 15 minutes. I can only stand for 20 minutes. I'm sleeping maybe 4 hours a night. And then just in every visit to every doctor. And then you're going to present them to your doctor and say, doctor, I know you've been treating me. But this is where I'm at with my limitations. And I'm asking that you file these into the record. Every visit, every time. Here's why. When Social Security looks at your medical records, whether you're going through the approval process or you're approved, it connects you have a diagnosis, the doctor is treating you, and you have limitations that prevent you from working. If you don't do this and you don't get the medical source statement or the RFC, Social Security's got to kind of figure out what's going on. This takes the guesswork out of it, folks. And doctors very rarely are opposed to doing this. And what it really comes down to is your approach to the doctors as you're going there, ideally to get better. And it's okay if you reduce your limitations. It's still what's likely going to mean that you cannot work. And right? So doing this and bringing them to the doctor and saying, listen, you're treating me. I'm here to get better. But this is the benchmark. This is a problem. This is why I'm coming. They don't say no to that. If they do, you have to really consider getting another doctor. So what we've talked about is understanding what to communicate. Make sure you get the limitations and these exact limitations down, and they're the real deal. They're consistent with who you are, and then communicate those in writing every time to all of your doctors. Best, hands down, boom, number one tip that I can give you to keep your benefits. I hope you find this helpful. Love to hear from you in the comments. Maybe you're doing this. Maybe you're going to start doing this. Maybe you've had some experience with this. That would be fantastic. Stay tuned for more. This has been Brian from the Disability Digest. Make it a great day.